must have blown it out.
Sure you lit it, Ben?
I lit it. Somebody's turned this off. He's been picking away at us like this for a couple of weeks now.
Tony says he hasn't taken enough grub to hardly keep the man alive. You couldn't put him in irons for that, would you?
We wouldn't, huh? What happens when he gets hungry again?
Hey, maybe he's found some taste in that grub of ours that's escaped the rest of us.
Got them all fixed up. Just spraying. Come on in.
You all right now?
Yeah, I'm all right.
Well, fine. Why don't you sit over here? Now what's wrong?
I got a name just like everybody else.
I'm sorry. What is it?
Cato Richards?
Yeah, howdy, Cato.
Look, Cato, there's no one here that begrudges a hungry man a bite of food, but this moonlight requisitioning has got to stop before someone gets seriously hurt. Come on, have a cup of coffee.
Casey, you say we were short-handed?
No. Oh. You mean give him a job? Sure we could. We got a long, rough haul to Indianola. Or a bunch of roustabouts leaving to go join up with the Silver Diggers? Sure we can give him a job.
You want to work for us?
Is that your next stop, Indianola?
Mm-hmm.
Well, does it make any difference to you which way we're going? All right. If you want a job, there's plenty of work here for you. Pays $10 a month.
$10.
Mister, that's good pay out here.
What you call me?
What do you mean?
You call me Mister.
Is there anything wrong with that?
No. It's just that ain't nobody ever called me Mister before. I'd be mighty pleased to work for you, gentlemen. Mighty pleased. Howdy. Morning, Cato. You know you missed breakfast, don't you?
Well, I just sort of felt that after last night, the way I was stuffing my face, I wasn't entitled to much this morning.
Well, you better get some hot coffee in here because you're going to be sweating it off soon enough.
All right, I got my gear. Get myself set.
Cato, that's a real nice looking saber you got there. What is that written on there?
I think I better go get my coffee.
All right, you let me know if you ever want to sell that saber.
Is it all right if I leave my horse here?
Well, you go right on ahead. I'll take care of him for you. Go on.
Thank you kindly.
All right.
Hey, wait a minute, fellas. Let me give you a hand.
Tony, that fella's the best natural worker I've ever seen since I first took to the road. Seems like the more miserable the job is, the more he seems to thrive on it.
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
Best natural worker, isn't that what you said?
That's just what I said.
Well, maybe I was raised where folks went plumb out of their way to be ornery. To me, there's something just plain unnatural about a man who just don't hate work.
Well, now, wait a minute now. Oh. Well, it was your idea to bring him on the show, wasn't it?
Yeah?
You're not sorry for what you've done, are you?
Colonel, take a look at him. Now, what has he got to be so blame cheerful about? Be different if he was simple. But that man is not simple. No, sir.
How you know he ain't simple?
Because there's a man with things on his mind.
Tony, that man's been a slave most of his life. Maybe he still can't get used to being on his own.
Colonel, I've been watching him all week long. There's not one thing that gets past him. And if he's not clear about something, he's going to ask a question, like he just can't wait to get where we're going.
Can't wait till we get to the next town. We're getting fresh food supplies. Maybe he don't like this idea of eating that pickled beef any more than the rest of us do.
Colonel, I've seen plenty of men go around happy-go-lucky with nothing on their mind except the next table they're going to put their feet on. But that Cato, he's not that kind of man, no, sir. Every once in a while, I catch a look at his face just for a second. I get the feeling there's some pretty bloody, mean thoughts going on behind those eyes.
Tony, you know what I've always told you. If it don't itch, don't scratch it.
Well, thank you, Cato.
You ride like an old cavalryman.
Well, I rode with Hood. That don't mean I was fighting for slavery, though.
I was with Jeb Stewart. Horse artillery. From Second Bull Run right up to the very end of Yellow Tavern.
But why, Cato? I mean, why were you fighting for the Confederacy?
Well, I reckon it wasn't for slavery. Come on.
Fine. Now that the entertainment has started, who is going to be first?
Cato. You've been with us for a couple of weeks. You finally joined us.
welcome.
Thank you.
How about you? Can you sing, dance, juggle, tell a story?
He can sing. I know that because I've heard him.
Well, do you think it'd be all right?
Cato, you're a part of the circus. We're just one big happy family. Go on, give him a little.
Well, come on.
Well, I do know one song. Way down upon the Swanee River, far, far away. That's where my heart is turning ever. That's where the old folks stay. Oh, the world, I'm sad and weary. Everywhere I roam, still longing for the old plantation and for the old folks at home. All the world I'm sad and dreary. Everywhere I roam, still longing for the old plantation and for the old folks at home.
Bravo, Cato! Well, don't stop now. Give us some more. What was that all about?
Well, he just felt funny being seen by a professional, Ben. You know, some folks are real cards in their own little circle, but in front of strangers.
Well, he's good, and I'm going to tell him so. Cato, that was a fine performance. Really fine. How would you like to do that in front of a couple of hundred paying customers in Indianola? With your name right up there on all the posters. Pay you a $20 bonus.
Well, I appreciate it, Mr. Travers, but I reckon I wouldn't like that at all.
All right. That's fine.
Why don't you stick around, Ben? It's more fun here than in that stuffy tent.
Talk to him about it, Tony.
You reckon I offended him?
Just confused him some, that's all.
Well, he's been kind to me. I wouldn't want him to think I'm being uppity or nothing, because I appreciate kindness just like anybody else.
Then why won't you entertain in front of an audience?
I dance and sing when I got a mind to. Just like I talk to my friends. You know, the Major, he sure used to like to see me sing and dance. And he knew if he told me, I'd never do it.
Cato, there's not many free men ever had a boss as forbearing as that. You ever feel like going back?
There ain't nothing to go back to. The devil, he done seen to that.
The devil?
Yeah, the devil. But I reckon I'm gonna meet up with him again one day.
I don't understand it.
You know, Ben, I guess every man gets a kick out of rearing up on his hind legs, getting out in front of an audience, making a fool out of himself, except people in our business. I reckon you have to be born to it. Never forget the first audience I worked to. 200 drunken cowboys. I was on a medicine show, selling a bar of Dr. Wills' ever-loving Dixie downdraft, aromatic acrobatic kitchen soap. I told them it was something that was guaranteed to relieve that northern tickle. Stage fright? Oh, I was jumping around. I guess the only reason they didn't take a shot at me, I was moving around so fast I didn't make a good target for them. I was sick about it, all the day before and all night afterwards.
Well, You know, every roustabout at one time or another had a dream of getting his chance to perform before an audience. Isn't often they got it. When they did, I've never heard of one turning it down.
You know the old saying, it takes a heap of people to make up a heap of people.
Yeah. You know, there's something about this Cato Richards, well, he makes you think.
Well, it's not so long after the war that every man couldn't carry a personal tragedy around with him.
Maybe so, but I don't think it's that as much as...
What?
Well, there's some tragedy that still has to play itself out. Possibly right here among us.
Well, what do you think we ought to do? Send him away?
Can't do that out here in the middle of nowhere. If he didn't starve to death, the Indians would get him.
You know, Ben, we never before cared what a man was or what he had done, just as long as he did his work on the show. We've had a hard enough time keeping this old circus on the road without somebody coming along trying to make us believe that we're sitting on top of a barrel of powder with our britches on fire.
Well, I'll tell Tony to keep his eye on Cato until we get to the next town. Then we can decide what to do. In the meantime, I suggest you keep those guns locked up.
You don't aim too low.
Oh, maybe you could do better.
I don't know. Let me see. He's out of range now. No wonder you can't get nothing at 300 yards.
Why?
Bullets too heavy.
Oh,
Did you buy these ready-made?
yeah, it cost me $3 a hundred.
Yeah. You ought to make your own, especially for hunting.
No. I seen men overcharge cartridges. When they pull that trigger, they blow half their face away.
Well, just going for elk, deer. 180 grain bullets all you need. Now, if you're going for a man, that's something else again.
Where'd you learn that?
Just because I can't read and write, that don't mean I'm ignorant.
I never said you were.
I just guess if you just want to learn something bad enough, you can learn it all right.
All right, Cato, then what made you want to learn bad enough the best way to kill an elk or a man?
Now look, we come up here to go hunting. We're going to spend all day up here talking foolishness. Wait a minute, hold on. You just wait till he gets closer.
Cato, it don't look like he's going to get any closer.
I'll tell you what I'll do for you. I suppose I can't make him come closer.
How you going to do that?
Like the Comanches do.
Coming closer, shoot. Go ahead and shoot. No, I can't. Up in the hill.
They seen us, haven't they?
I don't know about you. They sure enough done seen me. We better not do anything to aggravate them.
Aggravating? They don't look like they need aggravating.
You want to get out of this alive, don't you?
I sure don't want to get out of it any other way.
Time was when Comanches would raid a wagon train. The only people they'd leave alive was children of the slaves. They took them and raised them as their own.
So you were raised, wasn't it, Cato?
Like a Comanche. I reckon I was even a little pig-headed then, even as a boy. I ran away when I was 12. Yeah, I ran away right into the arms of a slave catcher. I saw more misery and cruelty with him in 2 weeks than I'd seen with the Comanches in all my days. But I think I still know a little bit how to talk to them. I think.
They're liable to kill you before you even get close.
Well, they'll kill us both if I don't. Now, you stay right where you are. Chance out they ain't seen you yet.
Let me give you this rifle.
No. You keep that. Just in case I get tongue-tied.
Well, wait just a minute. Let me take this.
You keep an eye on me.
They want the gun that made the noise. Yo, Chechnya. Raw. Leji. Maybe they'll take this one. Oskika. Raw.
What do we do now, Scott?
Let's give the horses a breather, Cato. We can use it ourselves, right?
I'll go along with that. How much you want for this thing?
No sale, Cato.
You kind of like that saber of mine, don't you?
Where'd you get that?
I kind of figured maybe I could trade you the saber for the gun.
Cato, I'm going to ask you one straight question. You come out here all this way just to kill somebody, didn't you? If you do, you know what's going to happen to you, don't you? Well, aren't you kind of young just to be throwing your life away?
That ain't no business of yours, is it?
I guess you're right, Cato. Man's anxious to get himself hung. That's his funeral. That's not mine, unless he's my friend. You heard what I said. Of course, you don't consider me as your friend. We got nothing more to talk about, do we?
Now, wait a minute. Ain't like that. I guess you just never could understand why I would fight for the Confederacy, could you?
No, I couldn't unless you were happy being a slave.
Now, you know better than that.
Do I? I seen Uncle Tom's in my time.
I guess I was one of the lucky ones. Because the man that bought me, he was a good man. A man who never knew what the word slave meant. He raised me like he would raise a son. When Sherman's Yankees came in, you know what he did? Major Jonathan, he just called us all together. He said, well, they're coming. Now, you can stay, or you can go.
He didn't say nothing to you about wages, though, did he?
No, he was doing us a kindness. Those were awful unsettled times. People dying like flies, trying to find a place for themselves. You know that. Well, they just picked up everything. Everybody on the plantation just picked up the things and put them on top of their head, and they just went.
But you stayed on.
Yeah, I stayed on.
Why?
Because he was an old man, and he needed looking after.
Did he ask you to stay?
Major Jonathan? No, he'd never ask nobody. Proud man. Well, anyway, wasn't too long before a group of Yankees came up. Headed by a big, red-headed looking man who was a captain. Captain Foster was his name. And he sure was mad when he saw me in the yard. He was mad because he said that he had done all that hard fighting just to keep rascals like me out of bondage. And he said he had military orders to burn down every plantation, irregardless of how much misery it caused anybody.
Cato, to a man who enjoys, really enjoys killing and destroying, that's still the best alibi in the whole world. Just following orders.
But you know something? I sometimes think he wouldn't have done what he done if the Major had begged him not to. Not Major Jonathan. You know what he did? He got out of a sick bed. This man who was so weak that couldn't even hurt a chicken. He got out of that bed, put on his uniform, and he went down those steps. He walked down there and he ordered him off his plantation. And you know what the captain did? He took out his gun and shot him dead. Just like that. Shot him dead. And burned the plantation to the ground. That saber, it's the only thing that was left after the fire that belonged to the Major. I took it and I swore that I'd find that captain one day. I joined that army, the Confederate army, to look for him. But I never found him. All these years I've been looking. One town after another, one place after another. Never minding whether I was freezing or starving, whether I was being chased off by people or by dogs. I guess the good Lord took pity on me, Tony, because a few weeks ago I found this here.
Cato, I thought you told me you couldn't read.
I didn't have to know how to read, Tony, just to see that.
The Foster Mansion, Indianola landmark for 5 decades, to be...
Yeah. I had somebody read it to me. Just to make sure that my eyes weren't playing no tricks on me.
But now, what are you gonna do? That's what you wanted my gun for, wasn't it? Huh? You mean to say you're gonna kill a man in cold blood for what he did in the war?
There ain't gonna be nothing cold about my blood when I kill him.
Look, Cato, there were thousands of good men that lost their life in the war with no more justice than Major Jonathan. But if folks started going around trying to avenge every single one of them, there'd be no end. There'd be just no end to the spilling of blood.
Look, I'll tell you what I'll do. I just won't cause you no more trouble. I'll leave, okay?
So that's why you went to all the trouble to learn about guns and powder and bullets, wasn't it? Huh? Because all of that one big shot that's going to end his life, and it's going to end yours, too.
What do you want me to do? What do you want me to do? I keep looking And I keep seeing that captain's face, and I keep seeing my man was like a father to me laying there dead. It's inside of me, and it's eating me up. Look, I can't be no other way, Tony. I just ain't got no other cheek to turn.
Cato, that's why you didn't want to appear in public, too, wasn't it, huh? Because you didn't want to give him any warning you were coming for him, right? And you were just using us to get through the Indian country, weren't you?
Look, I did plenty of my work.
I ain't talking about that, Cato.
Look, I'm asking you. You want to sell me this?
No.
Not even if I put a saber?
You ever look at the words on that blade?
Sure, I seen them.
Do you know what they say?
Look, I done told you once I can't read.
Well, didn't you ever have anybody read them for you?
Yeah, but never made no sense to me. It's some language that nobody understands.
Well, it's old French, Cato. Yeah, I asked Pierre, the knife thrower, what they meant. And they mean evil to him who thinks evil.
Yeah, that's just how I do think about Captain Foster. With evil.
Well, I reckon the only thing we can do is to wait till we get near the town and just turn it over to the local law.
Oh, you know what the law's like in these small towns? They're just liable to put him behind bars and throw the key away. Or the sheriff could warn Foster and have his friends waiting for him.
What do you propose we do? Just sit around here and let nature take its course?
No, not that, but we could try to keep him from getting a gun.
You know, that'd be impossible.
Well, maybe. Or we could stick to him like glue night and day and see that he doesn't get
What do
into-
you think I've been doing up to now?
You know something? I wish we could bypass this town of Indianola and play some other town, huh?
Casey, you know we can't afford to do that. We're behind 2 weeks' pay on the crew as it is. And if we don't play Indianola, we'll be putting on the show by ourselves.
Mr. Gentry, what are you sitting here for? Why don't you go look for that fella? Come on. People, the only animal under God's canopy that kill each other when they're not hungry. Give me a cage full of wild tigers any day.
Hit it one more time. Swing it.
That's all right with my wagon, Whitey. You get up there and give them a hand with those other wagons, will you?
I feel like I done swallowed all the dust from here to Death Valley. Sure could do with some water. Would you like me to bring you back some?
About a 10-gallon barrel would do to start.
I just might bring you back a whole fire wagon over here.
Hold it up, Jed. Where'd Cato go?
Get us some water.
Get you some water, huh? Well, Jed, if you're that thirsty, you better be getting your own water. Cato! 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 You know that Cato lit out? He stole my gun, too.
How long ago?
Just a moment ago.
You know where Foster lives?
Oh, yeah, there's a great big house. We passed it down the road, but I reckon Cato's seen it, too.
You better get your horse and see if you can catch up with him.
All right, Ben, but he's pretty good in the saddle himself. He might just head for open country where I can't find him.
All right, then you get to Foster's house before he does. Tell Foster if he values his life to keep out of sight.
Foster?
Put up your hands. Who are you? You're one of them, aren't you? Well, don't think I haven't been expecting you.
I don't know who you've been expecting, mister. It sure wasn't me.
I never saw you before. Did I?
No, sir.
I never harmed your sister or burned out your homes or drove off your cattle or killed anyone dear to you.
No.
And why have you come here?
I'm going to save your life if you let me.
From whom? I have no enemies.
I reckon you'd know more about that than I would.
I know nothing. I never harmed a soul. I never did anything except in the strictest line of duty.
Captain, the war to me has been over for a long, long time. I don't care what you did. I don't want to know. I know I sure wouldn't want to have your memory, so. But if you don't get out of this house this minute, there's a man out there going to come for you with every intention of spilling those memories all over this floor.
Let him come. I'm still man enough to defend what I've done.
Are you, Captain? Is that why you live this way? Looks to me like you're so anxious to be buried, you're not even going to wait until you're dead. Why don't you leave, Captain? You got time. There's nothing here to be more attached to than your own life.
Don't you think I see right through you? You didn't come here to warn me. You were sent here by my enemies, my political enemies, because they know my power over the people. They know it's madness to oppose me. Well, you can tell them for me.
All right, Captain, I'll tell him. Just hope I can tell him in time.
That's right. Well, it don't matter whether you did or not. I don't care if he's waiting for me or not. I don't care if he even intends to kill me.
Cato, he's not even worth killing.
I imagine I'm a better judge of that than you are. Don't take another step.
You give me the gun, Cato. Give me the gun.
Get out of my way, Tony. I'm one of you. Don't you come near me now. What you have to go butting in for? If you're my friend like you say you are, why don't you just leave me be?
Cato, the Lord says vengeance is mine. I will repay. I can't believe your Major Jonathan never taught you that.
That man in that house, the good book didn't stop him from doing what he did.
That don't make it all right with you, Cato.
Tony, for the last time, get out of my way.
All right, Cato. You got your mind set to hang for killing one man. Might as well make it two.
You wouldn't leave me alone, would you? You just wouldn't leave me alone.
Cato.
I don't know you. I was only carrying out orders. It's decorated. General Sherman himself carrying out his orders to the letter. Proud of me.
always having a cleared path, waiting for him no matter what obstacles.
Is that all he was to you? The Major? An 80-year-old man, is that all he was? An obstacle? A man that was so kind, he never knew which end of the whip to use on a man's back.
I had my orders. You have to understand the military mind.
Mister, I was a soldier myself. And I never heard tell of no military mind that said, go on up there and slaughter them helpless people.
It's you. That little slave boy who cried. Cried.
Yeah? It's me. And I'm so glad you remember so well.
Waiting all these years for you. Waiting for you. No telling how many others. Thank heaven. It's over.
Camptown ladies sing this song, doo-dah, doo-dah. The Camptown racetrack 5 miles long, oh, doo-dah day. I come down here with my hat caved in, doo-dah, doo-dah. I go back home with a pocket full of tin, oh, doo-dah day. Wine to run all night, wine to run all day. I bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay. The long-tailed filly and the big black horse, doo-dah, doo-dah. They fly the track and cut across, oh, doo-dah day. The blind horse sticking in a big mud hole, doo-dah, doo-dah. He can't touch bottom with a 10-foot pole, oh, doo-dah day. Wine to run all night, wine to run all day. I bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay. Bra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, yada, yada. Bra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, ta-ya-ta-ta. Bra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, yada, bada. Bra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, yada-ta-ta.